And of course, Team USA basketball, they got to stir up some drama. They got to stir up some drama with Paige Bueckers hitting a shot on Caitlin Clark. They got to stir up some drama, and of course, just setting both of them up to get cooked in the comments.
Team USA basketball finally dropped practice footage, and social media instantly lost its mind. One short clip showed Paige Bueckers hitting a shot over Caitlin Clark during a routine drill, and you would have thought someone just won a championship. The reactions were wild, dramatic, and completely over the top. Let's be real. USA basketball knew exactly what they were doing by posting that moment, pouring gasoline on a rivalry between two fan bases that already can't stand each other. After 5 long months of waiting to see Caitlin Clark play real, competitive basketball, this is what fans were given, and the internet absolutely exploded.
Act like CC wasn't getting PB to turn over that ball last time like they played 3 times. The last time they played like 3 times. Yeah. Paige Bueckers thought Caitlin Clark was on her team. See, she turned the ball over so much. I hope you all are monitoring the negative, nasty comments from...
Let's be very clear about what actually happened here. This wasn't a one-on-one battle. It wasn't a scrimmage with anything on the line. It was a routine practice drill, players working through specific defensive situations. Paige got a shot off and made it. Caitlin was playing defense. That's it. That's the entire story. But make no mistake, USA basketball knew exactly what they were doing when they posted that clip. They had countless moments to choose from. Caitlin splashing deep threes, Cameron Brink swatting shots, or any number of stars making plays. Instead, they picked the one clip guaranteed to spark chaos, Paige scoring on Caitlin. And it worked. Mission accomplished. Within minutes, the comment section turned into a full-blown war zone. So, Team USA basketball dropped practice footage from their training camp in North Carolina, and one short clip sent the internet straight into meltdown mode. Paige Bueckers knocked down a shot over Caitlin Clark during what looked like a routine defensive drill, but you'd never know it from the reactions. Within minutes, social media was spiraling, hot takes were flying, and the moment was treated like a season-defining highlight instead of just another rep in practice. Caitlin Clark fans rushed in to defend her immediately, pointing out, correctly, that this was a single possession in a practice drill, that Caitlin has been out for 5 months recovering from injury, and that practice reps don't actually mean anything. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers fans celebrated like she'd just won Finals MVP, treating one made shot as proof of something definitive. Here's the reality neither side wants to admit. Elite players score on each other all the time. That's what happens when great offense meets great defense. Sometimes the shot falls. Sometimes it doesn't. One possession in a drill tells you absolutely nothing about who's better. But nuance doesn't drive engagement on social media. Hot takes and tribal loyalty do. So instead, the comments spiraled. We saw things like, Paige is finally excited to win something, which is especially harsh considering Paige's college career was derailed by serious injuries that kept her from championship runs. We saw shots like, Paige thought Caitlin was on her team because she turned the ball over so much, a petty reference to college matchups where Caitlin's Iowa teams beat Paige's UConn squads multiple times. The pettiness was off the charts. And make no mistake, USA basketball knew exactly what they were doing. They're not naive. They understand the fan bases, the rivalries, and the attention that comes from even the appearance of drama between Caitlin and other top players. That clip wasn't accidental. What gets lost in all this manufactured controversy is what actually matters. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers are not enemies. They're teammates, 2 elite players there to help Team USA prepare for international competition. Turning every single interaction between them into some definitive statement about who's better is exhausting. The practice footage told a much more important story. Caitlin looked sharp after 5 months away from competitive basketball, moving well, shooting with confidence, and playing defense with energy. For someone who missed most of the WNBA season with knee injuries, she looked remarkably ready to compete at a high level. One analyst even noted how impressive it was that Caitlin stayed mentally engaged with the Fever all season despite being sidelined. Sitting out when you desperately want to compete, especially after going straight from an all-time great college season into the WNBA with no break, is a brutal mental challenge. She stayed connected. She supported from the bench. She remained locked in. That speaks to maturity and professionalism. The footage also showed Caitlin repeatedly in a defensive stance, actively working on that end of the floor, something that directly challenges the long-running and often unfair narrative that she's a defensive liability. That's the real takeaway. Not one shot, not one clip, not a fake rivalry manufactured for clicks.
Oh, got you!
She's not an elite defender, but she's also nowhere near the turnstile some critics try to paint her as. And the fact that Caitlin is clearly working on defense during Team USA practice matters. It shows self-awareness. It shows growth. It shows she knows where she can improve and wants to prove she can hold her own at this level. Paige Bueckers being at this camp is significant too. She's coming off her own stretch of injury setbacks and is in the process of re-establishing herself as one of the truly elite players in women's basketball. The hype around Paige when she arrived at UConn was enormous. She was supposed to be the next superstar, the face of the sport. Then injuries disrupted that trajectory, and by the time she was fully healthy again, Caitlin Clark had become the dominant force in college basketball. That's not Paige's fault. Injuries happen, but it does create an obvious dynamic where Paige is trying to reclaim some of the spotlight that shifted elsewhere. One made shot in practice doesn't accomplish that, but it does give her fans something to latch onto, and it feeds the rivalry narrative that USA basketball clearly understands drives engagement. People who said, "This is about to get weird," were absolutely right. Within minutes of the clip going live, the conversation devolved into tribal warfare. Any rational basketball discussion was replaced by defending your favorite player and attacking the other. Ironically, one of the most reasonable takes came from a Paige fan who said that anyone acting like she cooked Caitlin in that clip doesn't know basketball and is being weird. That's the correct take. One possession of practice footage proves nothing. Both players have scored on each other plenty throughout their careers, because that's what elite offensive players do. They score, even against good defenders. Paige's pump fake? That's real. It's a staple of her game. She's crafty, skilled, and knows how to create space. Caitlin has her own bag. The step-back three, the pull-up from absurd range, the ability to shoot off the dribble from 30 feet. These are two elite offensive players with completely different arsenals, both capable of getting buckets in multiple ways. What's frustrating is that we finally got to see Caitlin playing real, competitive basketball after 5 months of waiting. Not shooting off a rack in an empty gym. Not isolated workouts. Actual reps against defenders, making reads, competing in game-like drills. That should have been the story. Caitlin is back, and she looks ready. Instead, everything got reduced to one practice shot, and the fanbase war that followed. USA basketball got the engagement it wanted, but at the cost of turning what should have been a celebration of elite talent working together into manufactured drama. And there were so many other stories in that footage. Cameron Brink making her presence felt. Kelsey Plum competing. Angel Reese bringing energy. Chelsea Gray working her way back from injury. Juju Watkins watching from the sidelines. This camp is loaded with talent and compelling narratives, but none of that drives clicks like Caitlin versus Paige. So that's what gets amplified. People asking why Sabrina Ionescu wasn't there are asking a fair question. She's one of the best players in the WNBA and a proven Team USA contributor. The likely answer is that this camp is about the future, USA basketball investing in the next generation. Caitlin, Paige, Cameron Brink, Juju Watkins, players who will carry the program for the next decade. And finally, that comment about Paige being excited to finally win something was unnecessarily cruel, but it perfectly captures how toxic these fan-base battles have become. That's not basketball analysis. That's just noise. Paige has dealt with devastating injuries that robbed her of large stretches of what should have been a historic college career. That's not something to mock. It's genuinely tragic. When a player that talented loses years to injuries, the story should be empathy, not jokes. But online discourse doesn't reward perspective or compassion. It rewards hot takes and tribal loyalty. So instead, we get people dunking on Paige for celebrating one good moment in practice, and others dunking on Caitlyn for getting scored on during a drill. Nobody actually wins, except the social media platforms profiting off the engagement. Seeing Caitlyn knock down her signature step-back three, though, that was satisfying after 5 months without watching her in competitive situations. That shot is why she's special. The range, the lightning-quick release, the confidence to pull from anywhere past half-court. USA Basketball even acknowledged it as her signature move, which shows they understand what makes her unique. Caitlyn and Aaliyah Boston being together at camp also makes perfect sense. Their Indiana Fever connection gives them built-in chemistry, and having familiar teammates makes adjusting to a Team USA environment much easier. That matters more than people realize. The Nike angle is worth talking about too. Nike needs to be ready with signature gear when Caitlyn represents Team USA. That number 17 jersey is going to sell. There's no denying the demand. Nike already missed opportunities during the WNBA season by not fully capitalizing on Caitlyn's popularity. They can't afford to fumble again on a global stage. It's also smart to see college players like Juju Watkins and Lauren Betts at this camp observing and learning. That exposure is invaluable. Juju in particular has the potential to be a cornerstone of Team USA for years to come. These are the kinds of long-term development moves that actually matter. But all of that context gets buried under fan-base warfare over one shot in practice. That's where women's basketball discourse is right now. The sport is growing. More eyes are on it than ever. But too often the conversation gets reduced to tribal battles instead of appreciating the game itself. The reality is simple. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers are both elite players. They make each other better by competing against each other. Their rivalry, to the extent it even exists, elevates both of them. The best players want to go at other elite players. That's how you improve. But that's not a narrative that drives clicks. So USA Basketball posts the clip of Paige scoring on Caitlyn. The comments explode. One practice possession gets turned into a referendum on superiority, depending on which fan base you ask. And we end up debating nonsense instead of celebrating what actually matters. That we finally got to see Caitlyn playing competitive basketball again after 5 long months. The original commentary was right. This is all we have for now until real games start, practice footage and drills. It's not ideal, but it's something. And after months of waiting, even that is satisfying for fans who just want to watch her play. One shot in a drill became Internet World War III. If you're tired of manufactured drama and just want to appreciate great basketball, hit that like button and subscribe. Because turning every interaction between elite players into tribal warfare is exhausting, and somebody needs to say it.